grateful to the Baroness Lady Solihull for bringing this question to our attention, and it's almost impossible to improve upon the passion and commitment that she brought and showed in her speech, despite struggling with a cold. But I am very grateful to her. There has been improvement in the last couple of years, and the subject is these poor prisoners are receiving a great deal more attention than was the case a few years ago. There are no bad people involved in this. Everybody who is involved in this problem is trying to make it better. That goes for ministers, it goes for officials, it goes for the speakers in the room, for the Commons Justice Select Committee, and so on. Everybody wants to make it better, and I fully respect the commitment and seriousness of the officials, in particular at the MOJ, who are trying to make the action plan work. But in the end, there is a failure to grasp politically that for a plan to work, it needs to have an objective. And what is lacking in this plan is a clear notion of what success would look like. What is it we are aiming to achieve? Now, as far as prisoners who are out on licence are concerned, the very great advances made through the Victims and Prisoners Act just before the prorogation of Parliament, when it received royal assent, are now being implemented by the new government. And I hope that will help to deal with the issues of prisoners who are out on licence, and that in a sense will start to go away over time. The problem is about prisoners who are, IPP prisoners who are actually in prison, and in particular those who have never been released. I would say an action plan should have as its objective the reduction of that number to zero. It has to be a reduction of that number to zero. At the moment, there are 11 who have not served their full tariff. So perhaps we should say today success would look like reducing that number to 11. But that is not a target in the action plan. That is not what the action plan aims at. I'm not sure what the action plan does aim at, except to make the system, which is very clunky and difficult, and Lady Burt referred to it, make the system work somewhat more smoothly, to try and make it join up, but always to leave this dilemma that the parole board is going to act according to the same criteria that will apply in every case as far as protection of the public is concerned, but with no recognition of the injustice that has been done to these prisoners. There will be a number, and possibly we would all agree that there will be a number, who probably never will be safe to release. I would like to ask the noble Lord the Minister if his officials have got an estimate of what that number might be, and of the scale of that number. I have reason to think they have made such an estimate, but it's for him to say, because we're now coming to the point where we're going to have to grapple with that figure and those people, because as you move people out of prison, perhaps for the first time, it gets harder and harder to carry on doing so. You're going to come to people who will not pass this test. Do we have an estimate of what that number is? And do we have from current ministers, I know the noble Lord Timpson is very committed on this issue, but I haven't yet heard senior ministers in the Commons start to express that mindset and say things about it which will show that they are now regarding these people as victims rather than offenders.